aboard!
Outdoor service owners, rise and shine. It's time to start fueling your success one adventure at a time. Welcome to Outdoorsy Entrepreneur, brought to you by Housecall Pro, where service owners come to explore ways to take charge and level up. We are your host. I'm Kevin Fontaine, and this is my barbecue bro with all the hot sauce, Patrick Harders. Join us on this journey every Wednesday. Like, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel, and listen to wherever you get your podcast, and follow us on our social media platforms at Outdoorsy Boss. What's been cooking, Pat?
Just enjoying. Had an opportunity to grill out like I love doing, and getting busy in the spring. So
Yeah.
love doing that, and kind of organizing my business. Even though we teach this course, I don't think we've ever arrived. So it's always something new and new challenges. And today's topic is a great topic. So this is one that I'm excited to talk about.
It's kind of like owning a business, kind of like a painting. You never really finish. You just simply keep going back to it, adding this, adding that.
Now it's a lot of times we look at it, it's like raising a child. You fall in love with your business, you pour everything into it, but you're never done with it. Like you're always working on it. You're always trying to grow and change and adapt. And there's always something new and challenging. And that's, I love working on puzzles. I love working on, well, not puzzles. I love working on figuring out how things work and making them work effectively. Yeah. Fortunately, I don't have the attention span to sit down and actually do a puzzle. But
Carmen just bought 1,000-piecer, and those are pretty tough, man. They're
terrible.
small pieces, dude.
Everybody does that at the beach. We go to the beach each year, and someone always breaks out a puzzle. And it's
dude, that's a great idea, because we're heading to the beach this weekend for my birthday.
Hey.
So,
39?
That's a great idea. How much?
39? Is that what you are? Or?
Sure.
Yeah.
39, 53, close enough.
Somewhere in there. Doesn't matter anymore.
I know. So today we're going to dive into the exciting world of home service businesses and what it's like to own, start, and run your own. Whether you're an aspiring person ready to start your own business or a seasoned home service pro, this episode is for you guys. We'll be exploring the realities of owning your own home service business, from the exhilarating triumphs to the inevitable challenges and stress levels there. And I guess we'll begin with stress, and, stress less, achieve more. Let's be honest, running your own business can be stressful. Deadlines loom, equipment malfunctions, and sometimes employees and customers can, be demanding. But before you reach out for that stress ball, take a deep breath. There are ways to manage that pressure. Prioritization is key. Make a list. Tackle the most urgent tasks first, and delegate the rest wherever possible.
Yeah. It was funny. I talked to a friend who opened up a business, and he said, I went from having one boss to 1,000 bosses. So every customer became like a boss to him.
Yeah.
And things that you like, a lot of times if you have a job, you could shut it off. So you might be working somewhere and you get home and you could turn it all off, where when you're running your own business, you have payroll deadlines to meet. That's one thing that can be stressful, making sure you have the capital to run your business. You have customers that are calling. You have a lot of things that can really start piling up. And when you're new, it's all coming on you. But that's where we want to start looking at, how do you bring other people into the vision and into your culture so that they start sharing ownership in your company. And that's what you need to do. You need to delegate, and you need to be able to really take some of the tasks, especially ones that you may not be as good at, and start having other people come aside next to you. Pricing's important. Everything ties in together. So it's like a cog that you're just kind of making sure everything's running together so that you reduce your stress.
Yeah, I guess we start out in business, we are the main and only cog. Yeah. And then, as you can imagine, you're putting more wheels and cogs into the picture to deliver that bigger, broader growth and profit, right? You're going to make more money to live. And that's the challenge, man, because that's when the cogs become loose, rusty, they break.
Yeah.
And that's that whole process that we went through and still go through running businesses today is, hey, I got a solution. Let me put it here. Well, you have to try it out, and it may break, and you may have to put a different one in. That's the nature of what we do.
And a lot of times we're able to do something where we come in and we could deliver excellence for one project or one thing at a time. But how do you do that time and time again? It gets more difficult because you're limited in your capabilities and your bandwidth and everything else. And unless you're going to be working 7 days a week, 15 hours a day and hating your own business that you started off, you need to really start developing your overall structure of your company.
Excellent. Yeah, that's true. There's so many things to consider. And you brought up a good one. Delegation is a real big one that you're going to want to.
It's a hard one.
It's a hard one to figure out, but once you do start doing that, then you're able to achieve a lot more than one person man show here.
Yeah.
You know, and as your business grows, you know, so will your workload. So you got to consider everything you do as you start adding customers, adding trucks, equipment, all that stuff starts multiplying over your head here. And so you've got to bridge the gaps and figure out, okay, what systems do I need? What, you know, what procedures, what's the process going to be? Because when we did it ourselves, Pat, you know, it was fairly easy. You know, we were young, spitfire, we could conquer a lot of things on our own, and we would work 15 hours a day and wouldn't care. But as you have families, they care. They want you home for dinner. And they'll start getting pissed off that you keep coming in at 8 every night, dirty as hell.
Yeah.
And so it's important, you know, as you make that leap from hiring, that you're going to really start thinking about what are my processes going to be before the people start coming in, your employees, you know?
Yeah. And I think the challenge, you know, for any one of us is like, naturally, we could probably do most things better than someone we're going to hire. Like, I could probably do a design better. I could probably do a better install. I could probably, you know, you name it, answer the phone, talk to the customer better. I'm the owner of the company. The customers love that. But if it's something I'm doing on a really part-time basis, somebody who, say, even if they're as 80% good at me as doing something, but they're doing it 100% of their time, they're going to become better than me, and we're going to accomplish a lot more. So, you know, I actually love doing installations. I like the challenge of it, but you know, I can't go out there and design and install and come up with a marketing plan and answer the phone and do the service call. And
exactly.
You just can't do everything. So,
hey, I've got a success story for you. You know, the product, we just ordered some product from Sterling, your company, last week, and we had a nice sized job. It was a outdoor lighting project nearby me. $14,500 was the job cost to the customer. I went out, worked with the crew all day. Remember, Pat, I told you we couldn't do the episode. And 2 other guys and me, we worked 8.5 hours. I netted 68% at the end of the day. I calculated it because I added another hour and a half for time to do the sales call, design the job, my back end time. 10 hours, I made $10,000. That's 68% net profit. I'm so excited. That's my biggest net yet.
That's awesome. That's amazing. And that's, you know, you're not playing that Russian roulette of like, hey, get to the end of the year and see if you made money, but you're actually bidding out every single job, making sure you're making money on it. Because that's the worst thing, is to work the entire year and find out like, I would have been better off staying home than actually showing up to work all year. Because
we just did it for free.
Yeah. So,
how many times when you know that first time you gave the reins to us, an estimator, and you're like, no, go ahead and you start, you know, pricing your own jobs and let's see how it goes. And then you come back at the end of the day when they're done and you see like a loss or a $1 gain. Yeah. It's painful, but
it is. And that was one of our big changes, was going on a job by job basis, making sure we're bidding it out and actually tying everybody's pay into profitability. Because without that, there's, you know, if it's just like, hey, you get paid for making a sale, but you know, my analogy, I always said, like, if you're selling a $100,000 BMW or Mercedes and you sell them for $60,000, you're actually not good at your job.
That's right. Yeah. You didn't sell the bells and whistles.
No, you sold. And that was our last episode. We spoke about that. But that's, you know, being able to be really good in sales and then being able to train others on how to do that, like to go through that process and to take ownership and to have stake in what they're doing. Because if they don't have that, you know, you're then running around doing everything because you could do it better. And
Yeah.
ultimately, we are the biggest cog. We're the biggest problem in our company.
Yeah. Because we don't release the reins. We're scared and timid. We haven't built enough systems to rely on, the staff to rely on. So we feel stressed about giving them up that responsibility because you used to do it all the time and you know how to do it like the back of your hand.
Yeah.
And then when somebody screws up, that gives you, you're now gun shy again.
Yeah. I'm jumping back in.
There you go. You get right back in the truck and
Yeah.
solve the problem. You're the firefighter again.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you do that enough, though, your guys they'll see that and they're going to become timid to jump in. If you're jumping in and correcting everything they do, they're going to say, like, what's the use of me doing this if Pat's just going to come in and fix everything? Yeah. So you start creating an entire culture that everything is based around.
I love that too, Pat. That reminds me. So as business owners, as you grow, stop being the Superman every day. Take off the cape, because they're going to start reading into that and they're going to tie you to every process that they're trying to learn and grow with.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, well, Dad's going to fix it. The owner's going to fix it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be tied as the Superman, going to save the day every damn time something gets effed up. So, delegation's key, and it'll free up your time. It'll free up your time to focus on the bigger picture, right? Working on your business, leading with vision. All right. So leading with vision, know where you're headed. Every successful business starts with a strong vision. What do you want your home service company to be known for? Reliability, affordability, cutting edge, whatever it is. Clearly define your vision and translate it into actionable goals. This will not only guide your decision-making, but also inspire your team.
Yeah. I heard a person a long time ago said, I'm the CVO of my company, the Chief Visionary Officer.
Okay.
And that's a lot. In Sterling Lighting, I try and create a vision of what I think the company could become. And in my local company, it's like the vision should be something that inspires you and inspires your team to want to get out of bed in the morning. It's not just like, hey, we want to grow by 22%, but it's like, why are we doing what we're doing? And where is this going to take us? So...
yeah, don't have it just a poster on the wall. Have someone being the implementer behind that vision.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things you can do to create vision. I remember early on, I had a young guy working for me, and we're both in a truck together, this crappy red Dodge truck. And I said, imagine when we get big enough that you get your own truck and then you get your own crew, and started building that out. And he's like, oh, that'd be so cool that I don't have to listen to talk radio all day. But then, other visions where it's like, hey, here's my goal for the income I want to see you guys making. And you're starting to paint that picture.
That's so simple to do too, Pat, when you think about it, early stages anyway. Say the owner's in the same truck with his first employee or two, and he knows that they're doing a route or whatever you're doing job-wise each week. He knows that revenue cost, right? So what does it take to get a person their own truck, right? So you just calculate what's the additional revenue required for the owner to jump into another truck, and now he's got two crews running, right? So that's a nice quick measure to give someone inspiration in a goal setting event right there.
Yeah, we've always shared our numbers. We're pretty open with everything to go like, hey, are we profitable? Are we not profitable? Are we, what's our sales goal for the month? And sharing that. And everybody's got different motivations. We always think that's just money, but a lot of times I've had people come in and, it's recognition. It can be, they're more into a team setting where it's like, hey, I really, I had one guy that one time, he's like, I need to put in my notice, but I want to finish out the next 2 months so that we hit our goal for the summer. And it's just tying them into like being part of the company. Because so often it could be the idea of like, well, you're making money, and, they get in that, the boss versus the employee mentality where they're like, I feel like I'm just working to make you money. And that's an indication that you're not creating that vision of, if we're growing for a purpose, and the purpose is X.
You got it. Because it's me, I always loved the idea of becoming a team atmosphere, just like a pro football, basketball, baseball team. They got their names on the jersey. That's recognition. They get called out at the beginning of each game. That's recognition. They get bonuses if they score more points. That's recognition. They, they're MVPs, the top players, right?
Mm-hmm.
They get more compensation, the next contract period. So, it's very equivalent in what we do as well. And
yeah, and sometimes it can be small things. I remember I went to Infusionsoft, and it was $100 million company, and they had once we break $100 million as a company, they said they were going to buy an ice machine, but not a normal one with the little ice cubes.
Oh, okay. The cheddar cubes. Yeah.
Yeah. And said
rabbit
we're going to have our
pellets.
own little rabbit pellet ice machine. If we hit this number, and he's like, you wouldn't believe how excited everybody was over something that seemed stupid. But he's like, we had people working nights going through, we're getting that ice machine. And it was just kind of a common weird goal that they came up with, but
random,
Oh yeah. But that was the culture they created.
Hell yeah. And that's reading into people's wants and desires too, individually. Mm-hmm. Some people are motivated by money, obviously, but others are for recognition. They'd rather a customer give them an accolade, or the business owner, or the whole team. The whole parking spot thing for the month. Yep. Hey, you get to park up front this month, instead of the back parking lot. Or we're going to have someone else clean your truck all week or all month. Just those little, there's so many little things you could add to an offering for someone who gets employee of the month or hits your goal for the week. Whatever you set, make it fun. It doesn't have to be expensive. We had a spin the wheel that we would do every month, and that would have time off. It would have gift cards and other things. Make it fun. It's not about giving them a damn raise every time. Raises are not guaranteed. They're in the budget, and if we hit our budget, they are available. But it's not a guarantee you're going to get a damn raise automatically every damn quarter or whatever.
Review. Yeah, every review you get a raise, and it's
no.
Yeah, and I like to tie their pay more and more to success of the company, because it's why am I going to give you a raise if we dropped our sales 20%? And so it's when we hit these numbers, I'd rather give a bonus out and have a base structure. But that's your culture. So every culture is going to be different, but simple things there's a lot of Fridays that we'll just drag the grill out, throw some burgers and some beers, and, Friday afternoon, guys all get in, and, we just hang out for a half hour, play some cornhole. But it's investing that time with some people.
We used to invest our time in a titty bar. I remember when early in my days, I was like, hey, hun, I'm going to bring my guys up to Greensboro. They had a cool slide, like a water park.
Mm-hmm.
So we hit the water park, and after in the evening, we went to a titty bar. They loved it though, man.
Yeah. We do fishing trips. So once a year, we'll try and get a fishing trip out. And, a lot of times it's just simple things. It might be just hey, let's go across the street, get some barbecue, or, Top Golf, or something like that.
Sporting event,
And it is a balance to say, it's not expected. It's not hey, every Friday I'm going to be cooking, and it's just like anything. So
make it random.
Yeah, make it a little random and
fun.
Tie some things to it. And then, the other challenge is he set a goal for the team to say, hey, if we hit X, we're going to do this. And then they just fall a little bit short. Then it's making a decision of hey, when do I have to hold people accountable? When do I show some grace and say, we're going to still do this anyway, and next month I want to do X, and we're not going to grace you on this one. So, it's like raising a child where, there are times that you're a little bit nicer when you see they're down, and there's other times where you give a kick in the butt when you go I know you could be doing more and doing better. So
mentoring them up, always mentoring up as best you can, and dealing with those employees and with grace, because life's tough. They're going to have family things going on, etc. So we can't always avoid that stuff. So next on the list, we got building a system for success. Speaking of teams, let's talk about systems. Standardizing processes and procedures are the backbone of any thriving business. Develop a system for anything which gets repeated, from scheduling appointments and sales cycles to greeting clients and how to perform each service you do. This ensures consistency, quality, and fewer headaches down the road. Teach your people how to fish instead of giving them fish.
Yeah. Checklists are a great thing for us. I never needed a checklist on a job, but if I want to ensure it's going to be done right, I want somebody checking it off and saying like, for us, it's lighting. So it's like, did you check the transformer, check the timer, go around, look, make sure we didn't leave any tools behind. Everything looks perfect. You took photos of it. We put it in our company cam, but then they're signing off at the end of the job to make sure that like, hey, I did all of this. So then if you get a call back from the customer and there's all these issues, you're like, how did you sign off on this if you didn't do it?
Oh my God. Yeah, exactly. And I've got a great story behind this statement you made. So checklist, we have them too in what we do as well. And the customer I just talked to you about with the huge net gain, I was on the phone with her today, following up, telling her I was going to send her a Google link review and everything. But she said, yeah, I was getting ready to place a bad review for another company and thought about doing one for you. And she said she had her gutters replaced. Okay. The gutter people left apparently shards of aluminum cut off in the yard. And she's an older lady, so she has grandchildren over all the time.
Yeah.
And one of the grandchildren got cut.
Yeah.
So she's leaving a big old badass review for that company.
Yeah. And that's such an easy thing to go through at the end. And business owner, we do it and we assume everybody's going to have the same mentality. But if you're not ingraining that and going through training and saying, these are the expectations when you leave the job, then how do you hold somebody accountable if you've never told somebody how to do it? And, you know, we're going to have our training course that'll provide a lot of this as well.
For sure. No doubt. And so those systems are crucial, and that's the backbone, I believe, of what we talk about when we talk about running a business. I think without systems, you're screwed. Yeah. So if you're one employee, it doesn't matter. You start your systems then, and you grow with those systems as you grow. All right, and this leads us into a little bit of company culture, a place to grow. Let's grow something together. And this isn't show business, baby. It's grow business. That's right. Creating an open and inviting company culture is vital. Your employees are your greatest asset. Foster an environment where they feel comfortable learning, asking questions, and striving to achieve goals. Invest in their training, celebrate their successes, and openly discuss issues and challenges. A happy and motivated team translates to better customer service, which brings us to our next point. Happy people who believe in your system will work smarter and represent the company in a better light.
Yeah. You know, my personal belief that I found from doing this for many, many years is I would rather pay 5 or 6 guys what I would pay 10 and push them harder than have 10 people that are all sitting around watching. And you're never going to get past, if you're being cheap with your employees, they're going to get the money back out of you. So if you say like, hey, you clock out at X time and like you set all these regulations in, it's like tax law where they find the loopholes. And,
oh man.
Damon
it's like a prison. They'll learn how to crack the code.
We ran a Christmas lighting business and there was no incentive to getting the job done early. And so they just, they figured out the slower they go. And if they have to go back the next day, they're getting overtime. So all the incentives were based on working slow, which they figured out. And so it's like, how do we incentivize the behavior we want? We know if we're on the job, we're running. Like, my idea of a lunch break is usually like sucking down a protein drink or whatever, but like it's 30 seconds as I'm walking around.
Oh, I know. Yeah, exactly. Because I don't care. I want to just get home.
But I think one thing that's really important with culture that I love is the idea of praise in public, criticize privately. So when you have something good, you're telling everybody. When there's something you have an issue with, you're bringing them one-on-one.
Wow. Yeah, I wish I would have known that earlier on because I pissed off a lot of people and made it known. Yeah. I remember yelling in the warehouse at somebody. Yeah. Just top blown the complete F off.
How'd that work?
Not the greatest company culture for the day, but They knew my management style was I would give people more rope
Mm-hmm.
than I should have at the beginning. I'm
Yeah.
more trusting in people at the beginning. And I think I do a good job creating a process and a system. But then once they start cheating their way out of it, if they hit my wall, which is not very
Yeah.
far behind me,
Yeah.
my damn top just goes completely off.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's a problem.
And I think so much is important on how we talk. So, one of the discussion points is a customer being king or queen. And it's so easy for us to be annoyed with customers and then start verbally telling our employees. And
Yeah.
you could create a culture very quickly where every customer is an idiot. And you
Oh, I know.
speak poorly, like, this person wants me to come back to do this, this, and this, pick up the metal scraps in their yard.
Oh, they're an asshole.
Yeah. You know
Damn
how they
them.
are. And you start saying that out loud, and then your
Oh my
employees go,
God.
hey,
You're
I could get away
screwed.
with anything if
Yeah.
I could just blame everything on the customer. And it's like,
That's right.
you go to the Ritz-Carlton, they're not speaking poorly of their customers. If they are, it's something that the ownership doesn't know about, and it's in the back room somewhere. But if you do that in front of a customer, which eventually you're going to get caught. If you're always talking poorly about your customers, you're going to have, something
Oh,
happen
yeah.
where
Some
they hear you.
employee's going to tell on you too.
Oh, yeah. So,
Because employees get close to customers too. So,
there's a great book, Discipline Without Punishment, where I loved it. And it just went through the whole idea of like, hey, rather than like, I'm keeping a task and once you hit like 12 times of annoying me, I'm going to fire you. It's, they're just building up. It's more like third or fourth time you see them coming in at 7:35, which is really starting at 7:45. I bring them alongside. I go through the company policy of like, we start working at 7:30. So therefore you're not doing that. I need to get your agreement that you're going to come in at this time. And moving forward, I'll forget everything that happened in the past, but moving forward, we have this agreement that's in place. And if it gets to the point that I'm annoyed enough, I'll say, I'm going to send you home with pay, and you need to think about your future here. So I'll pay you for the day. You tell me tomorrow if you'll be willing to continue working on, and I'll tell you I'm willing to keep you on, but now we have a new agreement that this is when this starts.
yeah, it's a restart.
Yeah.
You're throwing a restart on them. And I would do that as well. I would let them go for the day and tell them to think about it and to come back tomorrow. Bigger, better, faster, stronger. And that's what you do.
I think the with pay is a big thing, which I'm an advocate, because it's like you send somebody home without pay to piss them off. They come back and you got an angry little employee that's telling everybody like, hey, I missed overtime this week. I missed this.
Okay.
And it's like, you punished them.
I ain't paying somebody to go home and watch Tubi.
I would rather pay one person one day and they disappear, and then, we fix the problem. Because like that bad employee will cost you $5,000-$10,000 by the time you work that through, work them through the system of bad behavior, and then bring on the next person and train the next person. Like, yeah.
But so you led into the next topic. The customer is king or queen.
Yeah.
In the home service industry, customer service is paramount. One bad experience can spread, and a few can be like wildfire. Be attentive. Go the extra mile for your clients when it's needed, and be polite, professional, transparent through the whole entire process, and address concerns promptly, and always leave the work site immaculate. Positive word of mouth and glowing reviews are your golden ticket to repeat business.
And I think you look at it even in the proposal process. I don't mind at all. I coached a number of people, and I'm like, I had one good friend who was working on this job that was terrible. And I said, increase your price and ask for payment up front. And he said, this customer was always just like anything that happened Friday afternoon, 4:00, like, you need to get out here. He's like, the moment I was getting paid more, I didn't mind the extra service. I just hated the idea that I was not getting paid what I thought I should, and I was delivering amazing service or trying to.
Right.
He's like, but the dynamic changed completely when I said, hey, this is a service he's demanding. This is the cost for it. And if you want me to do it, this is what you're going to pay.
Okay.
And he's like, I had no problem at all once I was charging enough money, because, if you go stay at a Ritz-Carlton versus a Howard Johnson, you're expecting a higher deliverable. You expect that great service, where if you go to a Hojo, you're not expecting,
Yeah,
much
you know
besides
what you're
here's
getting.
your key. Yeah. So
Yeah, you just run of the mill. Yeah.
you want to be at that 55, 60% profit margin at the end of the job. Guess what? That customer wants amazing service.
Hold their hand. Some
Mm-hmm.
customers are very needy and need to know every detail. So you got to know what to expect when you're going into there and price that into your job. And we always like to incorporate gifts for certain job sizes and above. A local high school
Mm-hmm.
has a band that has these drives, and they would order in oranges from Florida, navels, which were incredible, dude. I mean, you can't get better fruit, and also grapefruit. And we would
Mm-hmm.
order boxes and boxes of them, and we got our own custom stickers made,
Yep.
like orange. You glad you picked us? We would put those on there
That's
with
cool.
Fontaine Landscaping, and go around to property managers and big ticket residential clients in November, which is so another benefit was Florida can send these amazing ripe fruits in November, beginning of December, when North
Can't
Carolina,
get them.
Virginia, I mean, our season's over in August, maybe. So just those little things, give them a smile. And we had a bunch of baskets. My mom went around to all the Goodwills and bought a bunch of cheap baskets. We stacked them with oranges, put a bow on it, and
Mm-hmm.
just went around just shaking hands. Thank you for your business. And that's crucial for the long-term commitment and that repeat business. But without us working as owners to growing our business, implementing systems to get better, stronger, and everything, and delegating, we
Mm-hmm.
can't have the time to dress nice,
Yeah.
go speak with customers one-on-one and have that nice conversation,
Yeah.
relaxed. And that's what we're talking about in our masterclass, which is coming this summer. And we want our business owners who participate to learn how to develop an awesome business that kicks ass every day, because it's proven itself with the systems, the culture, the people. Your employees are working hard for you because you're a great owner who cares for them and their
Mm-hmm.
future. And you're going to have the time to work on your business and have more personal time to grow and develop new ideas, etc. So this leads us into our next topic: finding your niche.
Mm.
Be the local expert. Consider specializing in a specific area within your field, and becoming that go-to expert in your community for a particular service. This allows you to develop a deeper expertise. It's going to require you to get more certifications in the licensing and trainings, but you're going to be able to streamline your operation, and you're going to attract more targeted clientele and charge more for those clients. Now we're talking blue ocean strategy. Fish the big whales, screw the competition. You are a niche and you're a badass, kicking ass, taking
Yeah.
names, but you got to know what the hell you're doing, and you got to be certified and put on those peacock feathers, baby, because you're sprawling, baby. And,
Yeah.
that's what I did in everything. Fontaine Landscaping, I was certified from head to toe in hardscaping, irrigation, lawn care. It didn't matter, man. I was going for it. Anything I could do to make our company that much more niche and high end, I was all about it.
Yeah. And that's, you and I both followed the same track. Obviously, we met at Illy, and we're both, at that point, we had been in our outdoor industries for a long time, but we're taking advanced training courses. And even at that point, I was 18 years into landscape lighting design, and I'm like, I think I know everything. But then someone said to me, well, Jan Moyer is charging $30,000-$40,000 just for her design.
Ooh,
He's like,
wow.
what's the most you've ever charged? I'm like, not that.
uh,
And so it's like, yeah, I think there are people I could learn from. And, is there somebody in your area you could talk to? Are there outside people that, may not be competitors that will come alongside? And I find most of the time in our industries that there are people out there that are willing to help. There's different courses you could take and awards you could win and everything else where you're just showing like, I am not the same as, the guy next door who's just putting in lights and not going through training or building patios. Like, I'm doing it to this specification.
yeah, be a pro, be a specialist. And without that, you're just a number. You're just swimming in the red ocean, dying.
Yeah.
carving each other up, fighting over the same customer, dropping your prices.
No, you have to have that credibility behind you. Like, I don't only think I'm good, and it's not just my wife telling you that I'm good, if she would, but it's more of like
She doesn't.
there is a group of individuals that I have been certified in this. I have gone through this type of training, so I'm still going through, and what else can I learn? We're always growing, we're always learning. And there's always things that like you may not even know about. I didn't know what an LC was. And then I found out it's the highest designation in lighting. I'm going to get that, even
Damn.
though it's not even that useful to me.
Required.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not required at all. But, when I'm meeting with a homeowner and I say, here's our awards, here's our certification, here's our Class A contractor's license, these are all the different credentials we have. I then start to become the authority. And it's funny, I was just talking to a local business guy, and he said, you were at like $450 a light. I was at $290 a light, and we're selling the same product. And the customer chose you over me. I'm like, well, of course they did. Like, why would they? I get why they might go with you for being less money, but, I have so much experience in doing it. And the experience that the customer is going to receive from our company is going to be totally different than in my belief, what anybody else is going to deliver. So
exactly. And exactly. And if the customers that doesn't believe in your culture, your vision, your mission, the way you do things, your training, your expertise, your accolades, right?
Yeah.
Then screw them with a 4-foot pole, because in the end, we want customers that are in that blue ocean. We want the people that believe and want to do business because we've set up this way of doing business, and we care about everything. The 95-5 rule, the devil's in the details, all that is that in a bag of chips. And so, sure, when you're getting started, you're going to have to do the odd jobs. You're going to have to drop prices sometimes to get the job. Our job here at the Outdoorsy Entrepreneur is to get you to grow, build systems, and get out of that mode.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you got to make money. You got to put food on the table. So don't ever shy away from that. But our goal for you is to get you into a growth pattern of, hey, next year I'm going to set a goal of I'm out of the truck. The year after that, I'm going to set a revenue goal after I've put in my systems in place of $500,000, whatever that goal is, right? So our job is to get you to the end where you're in a hammock sipping Mai Tais on the beach. That's the end goal, right?
Yeah. And it's amazing how quickly 5 years can go by. Like you could be busy and active and running, chasing your tail, and all of a sudden 5 years go by, and like, if you've been around for a little while and you're expecting a different result to magically happen, it's not going to. It's like,
Right.
I need to put in my 40 to 60 hours of work, but then I've got to start working on myself, whether it's, through training programs, through reading, through advanced certification. Like I need to do the things on my off time in order to be able to, deliver what I need to deliver to that customer in the future.
Better.
So,
More predictable, higher quality.
Yeah.
And become a niche better every day. It's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. Nothing good does.
No.
So, that's the beauty, I guess, Pat, there's in our masterclass that we're going to have is there's so much information out there online. You get so many different answers on the same topic. Like, hey, you should not worry about training. Hey, you should do training. Hey, do this, do that. And we just take the guesswork out of it. We're so excited. It's going to give you an A to Z picture.
There's a lot of opportunities out there to grow. And there's people like Kevin and myself would love to see each of you, be able to avoid early mistakes we make. So that might elevate your business, 1 to 2 years in advance, which that takes out a lot of issues and problems. I was talking to Tom Fennig, actually, who started Outdoor Lighting Perspectives. Yeah. He's like, I'm amazed that, you're working with this one guy who he went from basically like 200,000 to 1.6 million in sales in 3 years. Wow. And he's like, we never had that when we were part of a franchise system years ago. And I said, I think there's that possibility, but there's a lot of growth that has to happen for somebody to elevate that quickly. And
Yeah,
boy,
I
it's
mean,
going to feel like a freight train coming off, but
yeah,
off the track.
yeah. And guys, don't think I've got to hit $1 million tomorrow.
Mm-mm.
Don't think I need to go for 5 million. I just talked about hitting 68% net profit margin. That's what you go for.
Yeah.
Worry about building systems, processes, procedures in a company culture and having a vision as an owner. Work on that, get that down. And then each job you do, you work on maximizing that profit the highest it can go, delivering a quality product every time,
Mm-hmm.
sustainable. And then you want to put on the lipstick and thank the customer, and you want that review. You want that referral. So that's your main focus. Screw $1 million shit here, there. Revenue doesn't mean shit. What matters is net profit. That's what matters.
And I think we said in a previous message was, if you build it better, the customers will demand you build it bigger. And I'm a huge proponent in the idea of, really getting into your quality and, people pay for design. So it's like you're cutting grass. I know guys who charge more for cutting grass because they have special lines and swirls and everything they make. They're doing something unique. If you're not doing anything unique and you're like, hey, I can get your grass cut, what is it that's going to set you apart? Maybe, it could be something as simple. I know Damien, who did another show with us previously, talked about Mosquito Squad, and his whole thing was like, we could get out to any job in 24 hours. We answer all the phone calls 24 hours a day. Like, they were about prompt service, which is something that sets you apart. But, you need to find what is the niche you're going to go for. Ultimately, my belief is if you're a designer, you're going to get paid more. Doing lighting design is going to pay more than cutting grass, because how many people in your area can do great lighting design? You might have one or two of you in the Raleigh area that can do a lighting design at the level you can. That's what's so important is, being really great at what you do and striving for that additional training.
Awesome. Well, that wraps up this episode, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the Outdoorsy Entrepreneur YouTube channel and hit those notifications and listen to wherever you get your podcast. I don't know why I'm singing. And follow us on our social media platforms at Outdoorsy Boss. Level up your professionalism, reduce stress and workload for your own business. Check out Housecall Pro. They have a special introductory rate for just us outdoorsy entrepreneurs. And like we mentioned earlier, we have a killer masterclass coming, the Outdoorsy Entrepreneur Masterclass this summer. Check out outdoorsyentrepreneur.com for more details and sign up so you can receive special early bird pricing. So I'm excited about that. And don't wait. Can't wait. And we can't wait to see you guys in the next episode. Peace, guys.
See ya.
All aboard!